So in this case, let's say we'll start a purchase order here. So you could either start one from here, or I'm also gonna show you through the menu here. So under purchasing, we have the purchase orders.
Okay.
One difference from GP is we don't have batches per se for purchase orders. So here you just simply click new. So you get the purchase order window. Here I could select, so I could either start typing the name of the vendor, or I could also just click on the three dots here and start typing. Select my vendor here, and it will populate. There it is. And have the information here. Now, I know right now the purchase invoice has this asterisk saying it's a required field. Essentially becomes a required field once we're going to post the actual invoice. But at this point, when we're barely entering our purchase order, you don't necessarily have to enter that information. Now here we could always click on show more. You get all the detailed information, more fields are available. You could then select your document date, your posting date, which would be the date it's going to post within your general ledger. And then the due date will be calculated based on the document date. And so from there, we could go ahead and just enter an item number here. So here you'll see you have a list of all your items. You can start typing by description or anything like that. So it starts filtering the list for you. But here we go ahead and select the item I want to order. I could select my location, the quantity I'm ordering, and then in this case, if there's any taxes, you can enter the information. In this case, I'm just going to leave it as non-taxable. But then once you enter this information under the invoice details is where we could select the payment terms. And then under shipping and prepayment, we could select the ship to location. So right now we are sending to a specific location, a customer address, or even just a custom address. You could modify that information here.
Okay.
And then if there's any specific shipping methods, you could select those here as well. And those have been integrated as well from GP. So we'll just say FedEx for now, but we enter that information. And then from there, we're able to, what we call in the system is release it. So they will lock the information for us here. And then from there, I could go ahead and print the purchase. Now, this is one of just the default templates from the system. These could be modified depending on the needs. But here's just a simple Word template that could be modified.
Okay, cool.
Okay, once that is populated, what happens is now when we're ready to receive it, we have a couple fields down here, which is the quantity to receive field. So once the ship any of these items, they could enter here how much they actually received. So if for some reason that was a partial receipt, they could just put in whatever amount they received and then post the receipt. For our sake, I'm just going to say we're going to do a full receipt here. So I'll leave this as 10. But then what we would do is here under posting, we would select post. And here's where we have, either a one-step or two-step process. We could just record the receipt into the system. And then eventually, once we receive the invoice, we could match it and post the invoice. Or if for some reason we receive the invoice at the same time, then you could receive an invoice as a one-step process. For our sake, I'm just going to receive it. So here I just select receive. I click OK. And then you'll see now that the system has recorded that there's a receipt for 10 already posted. At this point, there's two different ways we could invoice the purchase order. We could either do it directly here from the purchase order. I could enter the invoice number once I receive that information. And then here in the quantity to invoice, I could select the amount that I'm getting invoiced for. And then if you receive an invoice for just one purchase order at any given time, then this approach will work. If you receive an invoice for several different POs, then within the purchase invoice window, you could actually select the what we call the receipt invoice, select which ones you're getting invoiced for. So in this case, I'm just going to continue here just within the purchase order. The quantity invoice is there. I populated my vendor invoice number. So now if I go back to posting, I could post. In this case, I would select invoice. Once it lets me know it's been posted, and then I could open this. It's going to show me the posted invoice transaction here, which is now an outstanding balance for us under this specific vendor.
Oh, getcha. Okay, cool.
Now here we do have some options. If for some reason we accidentally posted something incorrectly, you could always cancel it and it will automatically create a credit memo for you to zero out the balance. Or if you want to correct it, if for some reason it wasn't 10, it was only 9, I could simply correct it and make the changes on the purchase invoice.
Okay.
So now that it's been posted, it gets removed from my list. Now if I were to go back now to my vendor, go into the Mac here, if I click on the balance, you'll find that here's my invoice that I just posted. So I could drill down and it will pull up, drill down here, and it will pull up that same transaction where we're looking at.